All right, Richard, you were so excited to talk about a Sonos app last week. How about some hardware?
Yeah, they've come out with some hardware, and I know there's some folks excited about this, but I have a really hard time getting excited about this. So, long anticipated that Sonos would eventually come out with headphones. And I don't know if they actually confirmed that they were going to be coming out with headphones at any point prior to today, but all signs over the last year have been pointing to them actually doing this. I don't quite get the purpose of Sonos headphones. And I know I've talked about this before on different shows, but they've announced that they are now available for pre-order. So they are announcing the Sonos Ace headphones for just under 450, available in black or white, combination of plastic and metal, and the resulting combination of materials makes them less weighty, about 2 ounces lighter than their Apple equivalents. The Apple AirPods Max, I think, is the name of them. And I'm going to use that comparison a lot because that's how many journalists and many people I've talked to are looking at these, that these are the high-end offering that kind of plays in that same space.
Yeah, I think it is the right comparison. They're big over-the-ear headphones with a big, band that goes over your head. They're wireless. They're a premium price. I think it is the right device to compare them to.
Yeah, I think so too. And including that pricing in the comparison, they're also $100 cheaper than Apple's premium devices. So that's a plus for them. One thing that I think they've done right is that they're using physical buttons for the features on these headphones. And I always complain about virtual buttons on headphones. I think it doesn't make any sense. AirPods, earpods, stuff like that, I think that's a little bit different. But when you have headphones, you don't have to remember what side is what function. And you have all these different things that you can do, like pairing and volume and playback and noise cancellation. And in the case of these devices, they also have a TV swap or a content button that we'll talk about a little bit more. But these are all physical buttons. And it's Sonos, so they've done a good job of designing it so that they don't look hideous, right? They're nicely designed into the ear cases of these headphones. Just in general, I think they look great. They're kind of retro looking. You can tell that there's metal on them. The white ones have chrome metal, and the black ones keep the metal black. I think they're really cool looking. And I mentioned this content button. So Sonos, what are you going to use Sonos headphones for? Well, Sonos is taking a really big bet here because their number one use case, their killer app for this thing, is watching TV with your headphones on. And they've built this around the idea that you're going to sit down at your TV and you already have, and this is important, so listen carefully, an existing Sonos soundbar on your television. And if you have that existing Sonos soundbar on your television, then with this content button, when you sit down, you can just tap it and enable the TV swap, which takes the sound from the soundbar and puts it in your headphones. And then you can swap it back if you want to at any point in time. So seamless. And from the reviewers that have tried this out, they say it's absolutely seamless. It's really well executed. Currently, this only works on the Arc, the most expensive soundbar that you can buy from Sonos. It will, in the future, also work with the Beam and I don't know what the other one's called anymore, but
the Ray.
The Ray. Okay. So this will work with the other sound bars that they have for TVs, but this currently only works with that. You have to have a sound bar for this capability to work. It's going to offer virtual surround sound with head tracking. That's great. It's going to, let's stop there. Okay. So it's going to do virtual surround. It's going to convert whatever. It even does that kind of true tuning thing, but it's specially designed for the headphones to make the headphones sound like you're in the room you're in. So it doesn't completely take you away from the feel that you would have in the space that you're sitting in, which is kind of clever. I think that's a cool way of doing that. All of that works off of your phone. Oh, by the way, did I mention that you have to have a Sonos soundbar to make this work? You also have to have an iOS device to make this work, because these things with the TV don't work on Android yet.
Is that a yet? Because one of the things that I noticed in the article that we're going to link to here is that there's also lossless audio over Bluetooth if you have a phone powered by a compatible Qualcomm Snapdragon processor, which is not an iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some features that only work for certain Android phones and some features that only work for iPhones.
Apparently so.
What?
I mean, it couldn't be simpler, right?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm going to take them for the word that this will eventually be available on Android. We'll see if that happens or not. I don't know about the other. It sounds like the other is a hardware issue, and you may not be able to get around that unless they come up with what they would probably think of as a degraded service that would provide similar capabilities, but wouldn't really be as good as the hardware-driven solution. So who knows? Now, all right. What are some of the specs? Well, I mentioned they're lighter than the AirPods Max. They get also more time than you get on a charge with the AirPods Max, 10 hours more. So expect 30 hours using active noise canceling on one charge, which is really good.
It is.
And you can order them now. If all of this sounds appealing to you, they ship on June 5th. What didn't we talk about? Oh, right. We didn't talk about whether you could just sit down with your headphones on and open up your app and start listening to music from Sonos. Yeah, no, you can't do that. That's not what these are designed for. They're Bluetooth headphones. You can use Bluetooth and listen to Bluetooth stuff with them if you want to.
Do you think that that's actually intentional? Because that's kind of weird. Like, most people are like, because you and I have been saying for years that Sonos headphones don't make any sense, because why wouldn't you just use Bluetooth headphones? Is that why, or is this just like yet another feature eventually coming to the Sonos app?
Maybe it's coming eventually. I am kind of coming around to the argument that yes, but Sonos is a service aggregator, and that's a good thing. And why not be able to use that service aggregator as your source for these headphones? That would be really cool. Yeah, I agree. That would be cool if you want headphones from Sonos. But yeah, I don't know. I have a hard time, as you can probably obviously tell, getting excited about these. But I know that some people are.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you. Like, the idea of, if you're already a Sonos household and you really want a really easy way to switch audio from your soundbar to headphones, like, I get that that's a really cool use case that some people want.
Yep.
Then I think these are amazing for you. Probably will feel like a magical experience. For anything else, I don't quite get it. I also would love to know, like, that we have a lot of listeners who are Sonos users. How many of you are actually using the Sonos aggregation type features that Richard is talking about, where you've got playlist and music from multiple different services that you're combining into one playlist or whatever. How many of you are actually doing that?
Oh, I am.
Really?
Yeah.
For what?
What do you mean for what?
Like, what are you what different services are you combining?
So I have multiple services tied into it. I have Amazon and I have my Plex server, which is all my local stuff, which still doesn't really work properly in the new app. And I have my Apple Music and Spotify. So all those things are tied together in there. And I can search across all of that.
Wait, you have Amazon Music and Spotify and Apple Music?
Now remember, Spotify and Amazon are just things that you get, like Spotify free, and Amazon comes with Prime. I don't have the extra paid version. So I can still tie it in and I can still listen to stuff.
But do you?
And I enjoy doing that.
Like,
I do.
So you're paying for Apple Music though? Like Apple Music is your primary music thing?
Yeah.
So what do you even use Amazon and Spotify for?
Usually playlists. Like there are some playlists on Amazon that I really like. So I have a couple of those bookmarked in Sonos. Actually, I have them set up as Sonos favorites. I also have Sonos playlists that combine, and Christmas is the perfect example of this. Playlists of music that combine stuff that I like on my music service, like on Apple, and stuff that's only available on my server through Plex.
Okay.
So anyway, that was a long way of saying, yes, I do that. And yes, I agree. It would be interesting to hear if any of you do too. I could be a solo use case here.
I doubt that you are. Like the Sonos has spent a lot of time working on this music aggregation functionality. So you couldn't be the only one. But I feel like most people pick a service and then they stick with it and they don't use anything else.
Yeah, I don't know. All right. Now, this is not the only Sonos hardware news. There's more news. They have a new version of the Sonos Roam called the Sonos Roam 2. And this is not an upgrade. This is the same device with the same capabilities and the same form factor. I think it's even in the same colors. I'm not entirely sure about that.
Remind us what the Roam is.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They have so many. Sonos has so many different devices now.
Yeah. So the Roam is the very small, like beach speaker. It's the portable Bluetooth speaker that they have,
and it's their smallest one, right? Because they have the
their
Move
smallest
2.
one. Yes, this is different than the Move. The Move is a heavier, more expensive version that you might take out onto your deck. This is one that you throw in your backpack and take with you to the beach.
Okay.
And it's a good speaker. I like it. I have it. This is not an upgrade. This is a hardware fix. This device fixes a problem that customers have complained about since the beginning, which is how the one button on this thing works. You have one physical button to power it, to pair it, to turn on and off Bluetooth, to put it in sleep mode. All of these things happen with one button. Guess what? No one could figure out. So they have fixed that. It was also not possible to pair this in Bluetooth without first setting it up with your home system. You had to set it up over Wi-Fi before you could even use it as a Bluetooth speaker, which is kind of ludicrous. Oh, by the way, this is a Bluetooth device that does work with your Sonos speakers and your Sonos service. So that's kind of crazy, unlike the headphones we just talked about. So anyway, you can order this now if you want one of these and you never bought it before. If you're holding out because you heard about all the bad stuff, if you already have one, I don't know that a fixed button is worth another $179, but it's available in white, black, army, greenish, orangish, and bluish. And the good news is the price didn't go up because that's usually Sonos's move when they come out with a new version of something.
Right. Right. So are you buying either of these?
Oh, no. Not at all.
So hating the button situation on the current one isn't enough to get you to replace it?
No.
Okay.
No, I'll just curse at it every time I use it.
Okay. And what are your go-to headphones at the moment?
My go-to headphones for daily use are just AirPods Pro, and my go-to headphones for airplane use are Bose Quiet Comfort 3s, I believe.
Okay. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm kind of amazed that talking about some new Sonos devices and Richard hasn't pre-ordered any of them.
Yeah, no. No interest whatsoever.
Okay. Wow. Dark days for Sonos.
That might be a good title.
It might be. It might be.